so let's see here. Instagram is connecting. YouTube looks good. How about Facebook? Facebook looks alright. Okay, let me go to my platforms and click my buttons there, and then we will hop into the live. Okay, I see I'm already on YouTube. Let's go live with Insta. Okay. And Facebook looks good. Okay, so I'm going to do what I always do and minimize them and come in here. Okay, we are live. It is Friday. We made it through another week. We're headed towards better weather, I think. I did hear that in some parts of the U.S. it's going to be colder than normal May, but I think I'm okay with that. And I think by colder than normal, I mean like 40s and 50s as opposed to 50s and 60s, so I don't think it's anything terrible. So I'm excited for that. We have made it to another Friday. I know we've had some crazy weather. I feel like I'm always saying that. But this week did not disappoint on the crazy weather front. I actually saw something today about a May hurricane. I don't know that we've ever had one in May. I'm going to have to look that up. And I don't think it's anything that's actually formed yet. I think it's just something they're looking at on the maps that has potential. So let's hope that if it comes, it will be weak and it will not do much damage and everybody can stay out of its way. All right, so let's talk about travel. First of all, I want to let you know Universal is doing that ticket thing where you buy 3 days of tickets, you get 2 days free. Disney did something similar last year, but Universal is currently doing it. So, if you want to go to Universal, this might be a good time because 2 days of free tickets is a decent value. It of course depends on adult, child, what park and all that stuff. But it's a nice chunk of change. Nothing to sneeze at. I'm going to move my mouse out of the way because it's pointing at me. Okay. While we're talking tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party went on sale this week. If you already have an active Walt Disney World reservation and you will be there and you want to add Halloween party tickets to it, contact your travel agent because that's easy to do. And I was going to say, and they often tickets for resort guests, there's kind of a, since you're already staying there, usually they release them a day or two ahead of time. But they're available. Halloween Horror Nights have been on sale for a while. And don't forget, Halloween Horror Nights has all those cool things you can do. They have the VIP thing. They have the Express Pass for the houses. They have the during the day, so it's not quite so, I don't want to say scary, because it's not anything like Mickey's Not So Scary. I don't want to equate those two at all in any way, shape, or form because they are totally different things. How about it's not so frightening or not so horrifying since it's Halloween Horror Nights? Um, so they are available. There are all those cool add-ons you can do with either of those tickets, with Mickey or with Halloween Horror Nights. You do get um, into the park a little early. If you're going to do Universal, don't forget the Death Eaters are usually out in Diagon Alley. So, and I understand that people tend to start at the front of the park and work their way back. So, if you really want to see the Death Eaters more than anything else, maybe get as close to that as you can and go that way when they let you in. There's a cool fall thing. I don't think it's Halloween. I think it's fall. Pluto has a scavenger hunt in Epcot for the fall season. And of course, Daisy and Donald will be doing Halloween fall themed appearances at their character meals at Hollywood and Vine. I've done the Halloween character meal at Hollywood and Vine. It's a good meal. They do it well. There's plenty of photo ops. So if you're looking for a good character meal with, excuse me, with the Fab Five, you might want to put that one on your list. Don't forget, you can also do Halloween on the high seas. And that also includes Halloween costumed characters, trick or treating. It includes all those Halloween things. Don't forget for Halloween the Disney ships will have their spooky trees out. Each ship has its own unique spooky tree. But that's just part of the ambiance that they add to the ship for the holiday. So don't forget, if you do a Disney cruise, you get fireworks at sea. Um, and currently, certain Disney sailings, kids can sail for half price if they stay in a room with two paying adults. So that is a promo that is out there. It's not for all ships and all sailings. But if you're considering a Disney cruise, get in touch with your travel agent and see if the cruise you want um, applies to that deal, because it will make your sailing a little more magical, because you have a little more money for extras, for extra excursions or extra souvenirs or whatever makes extra for you on your vacation. I know it's different for all of us. I'm a souvenir girl. My son is not. My son, if he finds something he likes, that's cool. But he doesn't have to go home with a souvenir. And oftentimes, if he goes with one, it'll be a keychain or a Disney pin that somehow I end up with, or something little like that. Um, I am sometimes a T-shirt girl. I often get ears. I like to get a pin or two on each of my trips, and I try to get something special. If we go at Christmas, I try to get a dated ornament or an ornament from something new that we did that we haven't done before. Um, when we went to Disneyland, even though it was summer, I got a Disneyland ornament because I wanted to relive those memories during the holiday season. Not every souvenir has to be big, not every souvenir has to be showy. It really just depends on what appeals to you. If you're a hot beverage person, you drink a lot of coffee and tea and stuff in the winter, maybe you want a cool mug from that place you went to in the summer, so that as you're sitting there, watching the snowflakes fall, you can relive your summer memories. Who knows? Everybody has something different, and there's no right, there's no wrong. Um, it, it's part of what makes us all who we are, and we're all unique. So, travel should be the same way. What I want to do on my trip is probably going to vary greatly from what you want to do on your trip. I'm all for up at the crack of dawn, rope dropping, hitting those rides we really love, hopping to the next park, hitting the rides we really love, hopping again. At that point in the day, it's usually afternoon, so we might go to a resort for lunch. We might go back to our resort and grab some food and rest our feet for a little bit and change up for the evening. Put on dry socks so we don't get blisters. And since we usually go in winter, sometimes you need a warm layer at night that you don't need during the day because the sun has gone down. Not always. We've gone to Disney when it's been beautiful and it's been 60s and 70s. We've gone when it's been in the 40s because there's a polar vortex. I've gone during rainstorms that are so bad they close the parks down. And granted, I've been out in the rain and it's been sideways because we went, oh wow, they canceled Hollywood Studios. Well, let's go to Disney Springs and have dinner. Um, and Disney Springs was bad enough that we went back to the hotel and got food and took it back to the room and took hot showers and heated up our food and had dinner and watched a Christmas movie because it was just absolutely miserable out. So, um, learn from my mistake. If Disney closes the parks and cancels, we had Jollywood tickets for Hollywood Studios that night, and they canceled Jollywood, gave us refunds. If Disney is canceling and closing the parks early, um, maybe try to plan an indoor activity for that evening. A movie, maybe go to the movie theater in downtown Disney. Um, and see a movie. There's plenty of movies at the theater. There's some really cool stuff at the theater. There's Splitsville bowling. Go bowling, get some cool, get a cool dinner. Um, but uh, that's really in all the years I've gone to Disney in December, and I think we've gone the last 5 or 6 years now. Um, that's the first time I've ever had a weather situation like that. And I've gone, I mean, that's, I've gone 5 or 6 times at Christmas. I've gone 3 or 4 times in March during spring break. I've gone multiple times in November. I've gone in October. I've gone in August. I've gone in January. I've been there, I'm not going to say every month of the year because obviously I haven't been, but I've been there a lot of months of the year. And that was really my worst weather day. And it wasn't cold. I mean, it wasn't like cold and rainy and gross like it gets in Maryland in December. But it was, I mean, the rain was kind of sideways. So just an FYI, having your back pocket a rain day plan, whether it's the movie theater or going back to your room and doing, extra long bath and clean PJs and a movie on TV. If you've, especially if you've got littles, I know with littles it can be hard to just head back to the hotel room at 8 p.m. Especially if they've been looking forward to things that have gotten canceled. So just have a plan B, and if you don't know a plan B, mention it to your travel agent when you book, and I will help you come up with one. Um, all right, now we've talked about fall, but we are also in May, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in May. Um, there's graduations, high school, college, middle school, all those happen in May and June. There's also some June weddings. There's some engagements that happen this time of year. There's Mother's Day and Father's Day. So if you're celebrating any of those, or if you're thinking ahead to next year and you want to celebrate any of those with a trip, a bachelorette trip, a bachelorette or bachelor party, a something for your graduate. I've had people reach out to me about cruises, booking cruises for next year because they have kids that are graduating next year. Um, a theme park trip, a trip to a city. Maybe there's somebody in your family that's a huge baseball or football fan. Why not do a weekend trip to maybe their team is not the local team. Maybe they live in Baltimore, but they love the Seattle Seahawks. Why not plan a weekend trip? Go to Seattle, see some of the sights, um, go to a Seahawks game. You can do those kind of things as great as gifts, and they make great memories. Um, and they are worth more than anything you could put in a box. I was gifted a trip to the Macy's parade years and years and years ago, and it was one of the coolest things we did. I still remember all these years ago standing on the street corner. We were across the highway from the main road from Tavern on the Green. We could see it from where we were standing, and I remember watching the utility trucks come down the road and fold in the street lights so that they didn't get stuck on the balloons. I remember, the traffic's all closed. I remember we weren't prepared for that. We were going to take the subway up, and of course the subway wasn't running. So we did Plan B, and we found a cabbie who got us as close as he could get us, and um, it was before the days of Uber and Lyft. But we got there, and I remember standing there watching kids play football in toss the football back and forth to each other. Just standing in the middle of the road because the traffic was shut down and nothing had started yet. We watched the sun come up. It was just a really cool day. And you can make those kind of cool memories for people in your life. It doesn't have to be Macy's parade. It can be a sporting event. It could be a Broadway show. You might have an aunt that's a crafter. Maybe it's a craft. Maybe it's her favorite craft festival. Maybe it's the little town with that quilt shop she's always wanted to visit. There's all kinds of ways to gift an experience. So I want to challenge you to think of a way you can gift an experience to somebody for one of those um, days that are coming up, be it a birthday or graduation or an engagement, maybe an experience for the newly married couple. There's all kinds of stuff, but um, think outside the box a little bit, challenge yourself, and see if you can come up with an experience. because it will make memories that they will never forget, and it'll be something they always remember. Um, okay, I've given you some idea what's going on in the travel world. I've given you hopefully some inspiration. So I'm going to leave you now and tell you, as usual, that I will see you next Friday at 4 for another live. And again, I will bring you travel knowledge and hopefully some inspiration. Have a great week ahead. Stay safe and stay well. I'll see you next Friday at 4.